Today I'm going to show you how to make polymer clay miniature pizza. First off, I'm going to grab a bowl of tan clay and gently flatten it to get nice round pizza base. You want to press down the middle more firmly and leave the edges thicker. Now I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of baby powder on the top of my pizza base to smooth out the surface and remove any fingerprints. You can also use dotting tool or bead on a toothpick, my standard tool, to bring out the edges even more. Now it's time to shade our creation, and I'm going to use soft pastels and cheap makeup brush for this purpose. Moving on, I'm going to prepare tomato sauce simply by mixing tiny pieces of red clay with phenol liquid. Then I'm going to spread this mixture all over the pizza base except the edges, which you want to leave just as they are. Here I'm using needle tool to spread tomato sauce all around in more irregular way. You don't want it to look like perfect red circle. Now my pizza base looks like this, and I'm going to bake it according to my clay instructions. I'm going to wait until it cools down completely and move on to cheese layer. To create that, I'm going to mix tiny pieces of pale yellow clay with phenol liquid and again spread it on the top of my already baked pizza base. Now it's time for pizza toppings. First, we are going to make salami. To create that, I'm taking red, dark red, white and translucent clay, and I'm going to cut those all together into tiny pieces using razor. Now I'm going to grab that mixture and roll it into the cylinder. Finally, I'm going to put it into the freezer for about 5 minutes, and that way creation will become harder and easier to cut in slices later. Now let's jump into jalapeno pepper. I'm going to use 2 shades of green and start off with lighter one. I'm going to cover this needle with thin layer of light green clay and then add another dark green layer on the top. I'm going to bake that now, but please keep in mind that the needle that I'm using here is all made of metal and doesn't have any plastic or any other than metal elements which may burn in the oven. So you want to use needle or piece of wire here. Okay, after baking, I'm going to remove it from the needle, being extra careful not to burn my fingers, and I'm going to use my razor to slice it nicely. Moving on, I'm going to make black olives simply by shaping tiny little balls from black clay and creating holes in the middle using toothpick or needle tool. Finally, it's time to attach toppings to the pizza. I'm going to start with salami. Then I'm going to add jalapenos, onions that I've made in one of my previous tutorials. You can click that link if you haven't seen that yet. And lastly, I'm adding tiny olives and my pizza is ready for baking. You want to bake your creation according to your clay instruction and glaze afterwards. So that's it for today's video. I hope you're going to like it. If you do, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more polymer clay tutorials and DIY ideas. Thanks for watching and I will see you soon.